There's a moment everyone faces. Someone laughs at you, cuts you off, makes you feel small in front of others. It's not the insult that hurts most. It's the silence after. That heavy pause where your pride burns, and your mind screams for revenge. But here's what Machiavelli would tell you. Never defend yourself in the moment of humiliation. Because the second you do, you confirm their power. He'd say, never waste your strength in protest. The wise man lets the fool reveal himself. In that instant, your reaction decides whether you become the prey or the strategist. This isn't about ego. It's about control. And control is what separates the weak from the powerful. Today, you'll learn Machiavelli's darkest lesson, what to do when people try to humiliate you, how to turn public shame into private strategy, how to rise not by fighting back emotionally, but by thinking colder than your enemies ever could. Humiliation is power disguised as laughter. It's how insecure people test your boundaries. They poke, they mock, they joke, to see how much of your composure they can steal. Most people fail this test. They lash out, they argue, they try to explain themselves, all while bleeding authority. But the truly powerful, the Machiavellian mind, sees humiliation as theater. And every theater needs an audience. Take away the audience, take away the reaction, and the play collapses. What you'll learn next isn't just defense, it's psychological offense. It's how to crush humiliation without lifting a single finger. Lesson 1: The power of the blank face. The first law of counter-humiliation is stillness. When someone tries to embarrass you, your body will want to react, defend, laugh nervously, explain. Don't. Instead, give them the blank face, the unshakable, unreadable expression that terrifies manipulators. Says nothing. It gives nothing. It turns their social weapon into a boomerang. Machiavelli wrote, "He who cannot control his face cannot control his fate." Every reaction feeds them, every emotion gives them data. The blank face starves them of it. They'll fidget. They'll repeat their joke. They'll crave your discomfort, and when they don't get it, they'll look weak. Effective affirmation. Remember, silence is not weakness. It's your declaration of emotional dominance. You're teaching the world, you cannot make me dance. Lesson 2: Never argue for your reputation. The second dark truth. Defending your reputation makes you look guilty. When people attack your image, calling you arrogant, cold, fake, or cruel, your instinct will scream, "Explain yourself." But Machiavelli and Robert Greene both warn, explanation is a trap. Greene said in the 48 Laws of Power, "When you explain yourself, you look desperate. Power is never loud. It's assumed. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them twist your silence into mystery. Because mystery terrifies the insecure." When the Roman general Scipio was accused of corruption, he didn't argue his innocence. He simply stood before the crowd and said, "Today I freed Rome. Let us speak of that instead." The crowd cheered, and the accusations vanished into smoke. He understood what few ever learn. Reputation is not defended. It's built in silence and revealed through time. The next time someone attacks you, don't respond. Instead, win quietly. Achieve something undeniable. Because when you succeed, the world rewrites your story for you. Effective affirmation. Every second you don't defend yourself, your power doubles. Let your results be your argument. Now that you've mastered the first 2 laws, emotional stillness and strategic silence, you're ready to move into the darker territory. The next lessons reveal how to invert humiliation itself, to turn every insult, rejection, or attack into leverage. Because in Machiavellian strategy, every humiliation is secretly a test to see whether you rule your emotions or your emotions rule you. Lesson 3: Turn humiliation into data. Most people view humiliation as pain. The Machiavellian sees it as intel. Every time someone mocks or disrespects you, they reveal what they believe about your place in the social hierarchy. They're showing you their perception, and perception is power. When someone humiliates you, don't react. Observe. What kind of person feels safe enough to attack you? Who laughs at the joke? Who looks uncomfortable? Those micro-moments expose alliances, hierarchies, and hidden loyalties. Machiavelli's advice was simple. He who knows the hearts of men commands them. So the next time you're being humiliated, treat it like a psychological laboratory. You're not a victim. You're a collector of secrets. You're watching the game unfold, emotionless, while others lose themselves to impulse. Because data breeds strategy. And when the moment comes, you'll know exactly who to trust and who to destroy. Effective affirmation. Every insult is a confession. Let others speak. Their words build your intelligence file. Lesson 4. Redirect the spotlight. When you're being humiliated publicly, your instinct says, "All eyes are on me." And that's exactly what the manipulator wants. But power comes from controlling attention. So instead of defending yourself, redirect it. Subtly, masterfully. Example: someone mocks your idea in a meeting. Instead of arguing, you look at them calmly and say, "Interesting, what would you suggest instead?" Suddenly, the crowd's gaze shifts. Now they have to prove themselves. They're on the spot, not you. It's a silent counterattack. No anger, no defense. Just a clean shift of focus. Even Julius Caesar mastered this. When his rivals mocked his effeminate grooming habits, he didn't react. He used that attention to project a different image. Refinement, superiority, elegance. He turned their ridicule into mystique. Humiliation, redirected, becomes reputation. Effective affirmation. You are never the target, you are the director. When others throw shade, use their own light to blind them. Lesson 5. Weaponize composure. Humiliation feeds on chaos. It's an emotional ambush designed to throw you off balance. But when you remain calm, truly calm, it terrifies the aggressor. Because your composure exposes their instability. It tells the room, "Look who's losing control." Carl Jung wrote, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." So instead of resisting humiliation, absorb it. Let it pass through you without reaction. Your serenity becomes a weapon, a mirror that reflects their childishness back at them. Think of historical leaders like Marcus Aurelius. He was insulted, betrayed, even mocked by his own generals. His response? Absolute calm. He wrote in his private journals, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And that line is everything. You don't fight humiliation, you transcend it. In today's world, that might mean ignoring the troll, smiling at the insult, or walking away with unbroken rhythm. Because walking away is not weakness. It's dominance in motion. Effective affirmation. Composure is your crown. The calmer you become, the more others reveal their madness. At this point, you've learned to observe, redirect, and neutralize humiliation. But true Machiavellian mastery goes one step further. To convert humiliation into leverage. The next lessons will show how to use these moments to reshape power dynamics, to turn enemies into instruments, and to make the world fear embarrassing you ever again. Because once you rise from humiliation without emotion, you stop being a participant in the social game and start becoming its silent architect. Lesson 6. Turn humiliation into leverage. Humiliation is a form of currency, emotional currency. Most people spend it recklessly, but Machiavellian minds invest it. Here's how. When someone humiliates you publicly, your ego screams for instant justice. But revenge isn't about speed, it's about precision. You wait, you remember, you watch. Then, at the perfect moment, when their guard is down, you use the memory of that humiliation to negotiate, manipulate, or position yourself strategically. Because nothing unsettles a person more than realizing the one they mocked is now the one they must respect, or worse, depend on. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Men should be either crushed or indulged. For if they are offended slightly, they will avenge themselves. But if they are grievously injured, they will be unable to retaliate." You don't need to humiliate them back, you just need to become so indispensable, so elevated, that your very success humiliates them by contrast. That's revenge by ascension. Effective affirmation. Rise so high that their mockery echoes beneath your feet. The strongest revenge is forcing your enemies to admire you. Lesson 7. Use the mirror of power. Humiliation loses its sting when you hold a mirror to it. The secret is reversal. When someone tries to embarrass you, subtly flip the frame without aggression, without emotion. Turn their mockery into a reflection of their own insecurity. Example: a colleague mocks your quietness, saying you're too reserved. You calmly respond, "I like to think before I speak. It keeps me from saying something I'd regret." You didn't insult them, you exposed them. You made your stillness sound like wisdom and their noise like immaturity. That's the mirror of power. You never fight the insult, you redefine it. Robert Greene calls this reversal by framing. By shifting the meaning of an attack, you make the aggressor look foolish without even raising your tone. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that in politics, perception is stronger than truth. If you control the narrative, you control the humiliation. Effective affirmation. You don't fight words, you redefine them. The one who names the meaning wins the game. Lesson 8. Make the room remember you're calm. There's one thing people never forget: the person who stayed calm while everyone else lost control. When you're humiliated, everyone in the room is secretly watching your face. They're not judging the insult, they're judging your reaction. If you stay calm, truly calm, they remember you as composed, powerful, and unpredictable. That unpredictability earns quiet respect, even fear. There's a story about Leonardo da Vinci. When a rival publicly mocked his art in front of a Florentine court, Leonardo simply smiled, bowed, and walked away. Later, that same rival's reputation crumbled, because the nobles remembered Leonardo's grace, not the insult. You see, people admire what they can't rattle. When you remain untouched, you become mythic. And myths command more authority than any defense ever could. So when people try to humiliate you, imagine 1,000 eyes watching. Your calm is your performance. Your silence is your reputation being built in real time. Effective affirmation. Let them see you calm once, and they'll never try to shake you again. Stillness leaves an impression that words can't erase. At this stage, you've mastered how to absorb, redirect, and redefine humiliation. But the highest level of Machiavellian control, the final lessons, aren't about resistance. They're about transcendence. In the next section, we'll explore how to use humiliation as transformation, how the most humiliating moments can evolve into unstoppable power. And finally, we'll tie every lesson together into one of Machiavelli's most chilling truths. To be feared or respected, one must first learn to be unshaken. Lesson 9. Transform shame into power. Humiliation doesn't just bruise the ego, it exposes your insecurities. That's why it cuts so deeply. But here's the secret Machiavelli would whisper. The wound shows you where your power leaks. Every insult that hurts is a map, pointing directly to what you still fear about yourself. The humiliation isn't the enemy. It's the mirror. When someone mocks your intelligence, maybe you doubt it yourself. When they laugh at your past, maybe you haven't forgiven yourself for it. The powerful don't avoid humiliation. They use it as a forge. They face it, dissect it, and ask, why did that sting? Then they strengthen that part until it becomes untouchable. Carl Jung said it best. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every emotional sting is a message from the unconscious, a lesson disguised as pain. Study it, master it, and you'll never fear humiliation again. Effective affirmation. The things that once broke you are now your blueprint for greatness. Every scar becomes your new armor. Lesson 10. Outgrow, don't outfight. Here's a darker truth few ever accept. The best revenge is not domination, it's irrelevance. The person who tried to humiliate you thrives on the idea that you care. But when you evolve so far beyond their world that their opinion no longer registers, that's the quietest, most devastating victory imaginable. Machiavelli would call this the strategy of distance. He advised rulers to never wrestle with lesser men. The prince must not stoop to quarrel with his subjects. He conquers by elevation. Outgrow your mockers. Rise into circles where their laughter can't reach. Become so disciplined, so rare, that your existence itself becomes a reminder of their smallness. Because the moment you stop caring what they think, they lose the game they started. And that's the cruel irony. Humiliators crave attention. You defeat them by denying it completely. Effective affirmation. The storm cannot touch the mountain. You win not by fighting back, but by rising so high you disappear from their sight. Lesson 11. Never forget, but never react. The final lesson is the hardest and the most Machiavellian. You must remember everything, but react to nothing. Never erase the humiliation. File it away, not to brood but to understand. Every person who's ever tried to humiliate you has shown you how the world plays its games. You're collecting the rulebook. And when your time comes, when you're in the room with real power, you'll move with quiet precision. Because you've already seen the petty, the cruel, the insecure, and you've learned how they operate. Robert Greene wrote, "Power is the ability to play with appearances, to conceal your intentions while reading those of others. Humiliation teaches you to read human nature, and human nature never changes. So don't seek revenge. Seek wisdom. Keep every lesson, every insult, every humiliation as a tool. When the time is right, your silence will speak louder than 1,000 retorts." Effective affirmation. Never erase your pain. Memorize it. It's your secret education in power. Let's bring everything together. When people try to humiliate you, don't fight, don't flinch, don't fall. Lesson 1. Stay blank and unreadable. Silence is dominance. Lesson 2. Never defend your reputation. Results are your argument. Lesson 3. Treat humiliation as data. Every insult reveals an agenda. Lesson 4. Redirect the spotlight. Make them explain themselves. Lesson 5. Weaponize composure. Calmness is psychological warfare. Lesson 6. Use humiliation as leverage. Rise quietly until success becomes revenge. Lesson 7. Reverse the insult. Control the meaning, control the room. Lesson 8. Let your calm define you. Stillness earns fear and respect. Lesson 9. Turn shame into power. The wound is the map to mastery. Lesson 10. Outgrow your enemies. Rise so far they vanish below you. Lesson 11. Remember everything but never react again. This is Machiavelli's darkest lesson. Humiliation is not an ending. It's initiation. The weak see it as defeat. The strong see it as transformation. And the rare few, the truly Machiavellian, see it as rebirth. When they mock you, laugh at you, underestimate you, stay silent. Because silence is not the absence of power. It is the concentration of it. He who laughs last, Machiavelli might say, is not the one who laughs louder, but the one who laughs higher. And when you finally rise above them, calm, unreadable, unshaken, the world will understand what true power looks like. It looks like you.